bullshit name I chose to stick on this for now. All right, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Daft Drafts, also known as a This Isn't About Me podcast. I can't decide what brand I want to use, so I figured I'd stick them all under the umbrella of not being about me, because in the 16 years or so that I've been doing stand-up, I think people have heard enough about me. So...
Is that like a shameless plug for yourself?
Not at all. No. Ask Gordon. We have nothing to plug at this point. He's way busier than me, and he might be doing like outdoor shows. And our friends are booking cemeteries.
Oh yeah, they are just giving up on what stand-up is, and just wherever they can get up on stage is the worst place to do stand-up. But they're still trying. They're still plugging away.
Oh yeah, it's every gig that you have now is pre-corona, like when they would try to get you to do stand-up at like a family get-together or a cookout or something like that.
Yeah.
Each show now is that equivalent.
It's the worst. I've heard more people asking to do backyard gigs that I've turned down in the past, and like they now feel more emboldened, which is the sad part.
Oh, we're the only backyard in town. But yep, and then I don't know. Do you know Greg Jolley, Gordon?
No.
Phillipsburg creative, filmmaker, playwright, right?
Okay.
Yeah, filmmaker, photographer, actor.
Okay.
Smoker, rock biter. All right, so let's see. This is why we're gonna edit this thing later.
Okay.
But Black Panther 2 without Chadwick Boseman. Very sad fact. If you're finding out here, I apologize. But the star of Black Panther, Avengers Endgame, Avengers Infinity War, a couple of others he was in there. I think he played it about 5 times.
Yeah.
So, Civil War, Black Panther, Endgame, and Infinity War.
Yes. So at this point, that's one of the questions that they have out there is to recast or to pass the mantle. Where do you fellas?
I would think that they should just pass the mantle. I know a lot of purists and comic book nerds, they don't want to see another. They're like, the big thing right now everyone's saying is like, pass the mantle, let the little sister be Black Panther, and everyone's like, we can't stand another female lead as a hero. Is that
what the pushback is? They're just it's that the same thing that happened with Star Wars. Enough diversity already.
Yeah.
Or now Love and Thunder is going to introduce Jane as the Lady Thor.
Yes. Yeah. There's the girl Thor.
And yeah. Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman.
Well, Captain Marvel is if this were a video game, she would just be overpowered as fuck.
Yeah.
But not the strongest actress in the group either.
You know that, and actually the thing is Brie Larson is actually a really strong actress. If you watch her in like Short Term 12 or Room, or even stuff like 21 Jump Street, she had comedic chops. I mean, she's a solid actor. The disappointment of Captain Marvel is that Ryan Fleck and Anna Boden are both great indie writers and directors. They did that Zach Galifianakis Asylum movie. It's kind of a funny story. They did a film called Sugar that was about a minor league baseball player. They did Half Nelson with Ryan Gosling, which got him his first Oscar nomination. And I feel like Marvel kind of tightened my niche on them.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could be a great innovative filmmaker, and once you start like really working for the big companies, like look at Rian Johnson. He tried to do something with that middle Star Wars, and
that's my favorite Star Wars ever.
Yeah, no, I like the direction that he was going in, but they slapped the gimp back in the box, and just let the other guy finish it with his bullshit.
The mouth mask shut.
And
I think I'd like to see them pass the mantle, and I think it should be Okoye. Denai Garai's character.
We were talking about this before, yeah.
Yeah.
You are
why
big,
Shuri isn't a
big
fighter.
Okoye stan. Yeah, with neither is
Dude, man,
Tony
I love
Stark.
it. He was my favorite part of Black Panther, the film. I love Chadwick Boseman as an actor. I thought Black Panther, he was kind of a Boy Scout. He's a little boring because
he was very much a Boy Scout, and like,
yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot for him to do.
Well, I mean, you were raised as the crown prince of a secret country. Like you want to talk about code switching. This guy had to present, one face to the world and then a panther face to the badass.
Yeah, I mean, he had to pretend to be like a goat farmer king to most of the world, and in reality, like I could crush any of your countries.
I just imagine him like hopping out of the Bentley and like right before he does, he just rubs some cow shit on his sandals.
He does like a reverse Kaiser Jose.
Yes.
Like as he gets out of the car, he's like, "Oh yes," and like puts on the, the like humble kind of like, "Oh, we're so happy to be here," and it's like I could be running the fucking world right now if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, they already were like announcing that they were going to bring back what's his name's character, Michael B. Jordan's character, Killmonger in the first place.
See, I think they weren't or they are.
They were. They already were before Chadwick was going past.
I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, I do too.
They already announced that he was going to be in the second one. I don't know what his role was going to be. I don't know if they saved his life.
It's gonna have to get beefed up.
Like a flashback scene, but they knew that they were going to have him again. So they left like it's so sad that he passed, but it's many doors that are open that they can venture down.
So, yeah, Marvel. This is the first time Marvel's really come up against it with something like this.
Here's one kind of inside baseball thing that I wondered, because he's had this cancer since before he was Black Panther. Yeah. And I know from growing up and hanging around Kevin Smith and stuff that they make the director get a physical before every film.
They do it to all the actors too.
Yeah, so how did this get past that? I mean, you're talking a $100 million film where the actor is terminal.
Yeah.
That's how you get past it. If Chadwick Boseman, I mean, he may have told the doctors, but the doctors
don't have to tell the insurance company? Isn't that what
not if it's not presenting a problem on set. If it's not presenting a problem on set, I don't imagine that they would necessarily have to. I mean, if he wasn't like at risk of an immediate injury or heart attack or something.
Yeah. Like, because I didn't really notice that like Chadwick looked different until he did the Barbershop on HBO where he was around LeBron. He was noticeably skinnier. I didn't know whether it was for a role or what it was going on with him. But like, if you look at that episode of the Barbershop and you see him, you know something's up.
Well, if you see Defy Bloods too, he is super skinny in that.
So it's kind of strange that that the insurance companies and Marvel and especially Disney alone would miss something as huge as this. So either they have something planned already or they just dropped the ball.
I just hope it wasn't the J.J. Abrams insurance policy where they just filmed him saying a bunch of stupid shit and they're going to stick his head on somebody's body and be like, "Oh, my heart hurts."
Yep.
But so that
brings to shoehorn like awkward dialogue from other characters, match like old footage from the first Black Panther movie that they never used.
And that brings us to the next question: how do you handle the death of the Black Panther? It's got to be Act 1, right? I mean, that's your opener. It's just like Punisher Warzone. Like you start as strong as you possibly can and just stack it on top, right? I mean, because you don't have any. Let's presume that you don't have any T'Challa footage. It's got to be all Panther.
And essentially,
got to be all Panther. He dies in the suit. His sister comes and avenges him, brings him back. She somehow hid away some extra Black Panther fruit and now is able to take the throne.
And I mean, how do you kill him in the suit? I mean, he's got the heart-shaped turban, and that's I to be honest, like maybe the best thing to do is just retcon the whole thing.
No, You can't. That's the whole point of the universe.
I know, but there's
nothing happens in a vacuum.
There's no organic way to remove Black Panther other than to have somebody come out at the beginning of the movie and literally be like, "Holy shit, T'Challa died. We're passing the mantle on." Like I can't think of it.
Off-screen death. Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, so then there's two ways I see it doing that. You could do an off-screen death where it's a mystery as to, who killed T'Challa, and that would play, at least for one movie, with Shuri being more of a smart person than she is a fighter in shaking that down. But it changes the tone. It changes the tone of the film.
And you're also capitalizing on a man's death, a really tragic, bad death for an entire culture of people.
It's terrible. But if you can save the IP for all those, let's be honest, the people that are really going to bitch about that are not going to sleep every night in Black Panther pajamas. Who I'm looking for is that kid that's 7, that's going to be 9 by the time the movie comes out, that needs representation in the theater, needs to see that. So for me, and this we had talked before, and you Greg was not in agreement on this, but I think, you open with your huge set piece, it can be in Wakanda, but I think that Wakanda should kind of be in the middle of a civil war when it starts. The reason being, someone ruled Wakanda for the 5 years during the snap when T'Challa and Shuri were gone. And now he comes back, he fights, but the last you see of him, because I rewatched this to make sure my theory wasn't shit, it's just him and his mother and his sister on a balcony in the palace looking out at Wakanda, like so happy to be back together. But I think you could kind of weld a strong narrative of, maybe M'Baku took over and like he was on good terms. You have a whole 360 at the end of the first Black Panther. M'Baku fought him, but then he fought with him. But his best friend, who wouldn't fight, goes with Killmonger and betrays both his king and his wife, who Greg loves, Okoye. So when you look at it, when you see the people that fight at the end of Endgame, it's Shuri with her like Hulkbuster shooter shits, Black Panther, and Okoye, and then we know the mom's still alive. I'm sure is it Winston Duke? I don't think he's getting bigger. He was in Us, right? And here's a confession for you. I was 20 minutes into Us before I realized that wasn't Jordan Peele. But I think if you start, and here's what I would do in that Civil War scene. There'll be like a vibranium weapon, something like that hits him and overloads the suit, causing an implosion. In which case, his death is Shuri's fault. And when we talk about her as the next Black Panther, that opens up this arc. Because one of the things I hate in these movies is when somebody has like a shitty little thing wrong with them just so they can fix it by the end of the film, like the guy's afraid of the dark or he leaves his water everywhere, so now the aliens are gonna die because they can't have water on them. So
you trashing Sign?
I'm shitting all over Sign.
Sign is brilliant. You're out of your mind. That's a great movie.
I wouldn't go with brilliant. It was good, but it wasn't brilliant.
One of the best alien invasion pictures ever made. There is so much right with that film. You crazy.
I don't know. But
I think we're really overthinking this. The easiest way to do this is take the end of Endgames with Captain America and say that you get to revamp Iron Man, bring back Iron Man alive, kill off T'Challa, and say it's a different timeline.
So here's the thing, though, with that. Captain America was always Peggy, what's her name? Her husband.
Yeah.
So there were two Captain Americas existing at the same time. And they were very crazy about talking about who Peggy, what's her name, Peggy Hill? No, not Peggy Hill. That's Hank Hill.
Yeah.
Agent Carter, isn't it?
Yeah, Peggy Carter. They were very cagey about talking about who her husband was. And it was this big mystery throughout the entire run of phase 1, 2, and 3. And the whole time it was Steve Rogers. So that timeline.
It was really Joe Biden I mean, he's Joe Biden at the end of that movie, as far as I'm concerned.
Honestly, I don't. My biggest problem would be capitalizing on the death of Chadwick Boseman as their plot point.
That's your plot. You can't switch Darren's. Like,
what I'm saying is to make it the entire plot. Like
no, it's not. Oh, you mean for the mystery pitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the whole impetus of that story is that he's dead. When Heath Ledger died, Heath Ledger was supposed to be in Dark Knight Rises. He was a major part of that story, and that they were developing, and then he died. And
that's why that movie sucks.
That movie is fantastic.
You have questionable taste in films.
In history. Dark Knight is my favorite film.
The middle one is great. The Heath Ledger one is fun.
Batman Begins is amazing.
Batman Begins is a origin story.
By far the best origin story in at least the entire.
I really agree with you on that one.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's an origin story.
It's still fantastic.
The third one, though, with Bane just talks like a modulated pitchman for insurance the whole time. They deliberately bury the whole, autopilot bullshit. You didn't have to say he never fixed it and then be like, oh, yeah, he did. He goes off to the he goes off to the African prison, gets his back broken, and then somehow makes it into the SS plot hole ship to come back from Africa and get
I will totally give you that there's plot holes all over. The fact that his back gets fixed to fighting quality by getting punched by like a 70-year-old man is a little hard to buy. I'll give you that.
And that's what I'm saying. When somebody dies, somebody that integral, and they made the smart decision to not pass the man, to not recast, but it hurts your film. So that's what I'm saying. If we have this, let there be a flaw in the suit. Let it be Shuri's fault. Start her off where she's kind of doubting her technical skills. She's next in line for the throne, but there's this whole M'Baku thing. And M'Baku doesn't even have to be a bad guy, because one of the things that we have going is we have a bad guy that we're not using, which is W'Kabi, who also makes Okoye interesting. Again, husband and wife. And one of the things I was reading
is husband and wife.
No,
they're just together. They never said that they're married.
That is true. I thought they were married also, but I guess I'm wrong about that.
And they're different tribes, I think.
I know the Dora Milaje are like the ceremonial wives in training of the kings, but it was really more of a way to keep female hostages from all the tribes together under T'Chaka, who does not seem to actually have been a very nice guy. That's the other thing that makes me really want to push the Civil War thing, is T'Challa was only king for a couple of months before the snap, and his father was kind of a piece of shit, a brother killer, and his eye was weird in the ancestral plane. I just didn't like the fella, but
it was weird. Like a forest with her eye in the ancestral plane.
He had like a Terminator eye growing out of his cheekbone. I don't know if he had Bell's palsy when they filmed that scene, but that was not the same, king you saw.
In the microwave too long.
But see, the other thing with this too is, do the Skrulls fit in anywhere for you? Because one of the things I think you could do very well is take M'Baku, present him in the beginning in this Civil War as a usurper and a real piece of shit and everything, and then turn that was a Skrull, that it wasn't M'Baku, and bring M'Baku in as the white gorilla with Shuri becoming the Black Panther. There's all kinds of varied animal religions that make up Wakanda that they haven't touched on yet. Like there's the gator, which is the patron of that tribe with the green suit with the guy with the big lip ring. And then there's, I don't know if it's the gator or the snake. One of them is also a shapeshifter. So you could kind of do some interesting shit with the Skrulls, and
you could you could retcon T'Challa into a Skrull and just be like, he died a while ago. And
see, you're so dismissive of them. Let the king have his sacrifice, man.
Like I said, I don't love the idea of selling a film on a plot point of someone like Chadwick Boseman dying. It's just it's like
It's Disney, bro. They're gonna do whatever they want.
I know.
Honestly, if Chadwick Boseman hadn't died, you'd still have to talk Disney out of killing his parents. Disney doesn't want happy families in their films.
Yeah, man, they like killing the opposite sex parent. If a female is the lead character, chances are her mom is dead, and the only one left is the dad, and vice versa.
Well, yeah, I mean, this would be, and that's one of the things I find too. One of the interests that I have in Shuri as a character is your previous monarch died without an heir, so you can have pressure on her to marry. Maybe, whoever. It could be a new guy. It could be M'Baku. I love M'Baku. I just want more M'Baku. But you could create triangles and stuff between M'Baku and the new guy or this other guy, or have W'Kabi like with a Skrull, like being like the worm tongue to that, and I think there's a lot that you could do. You could even create kind of like a Shuri into an Iron Panther, using her skills, kind of not replace Tony, but add a little of that Tony Stark flavor in there.
Yeah, kind of an interesting idea.
I do need I need at least one or two more fights at Warrior Falls during this one, just because it's a touch point from the first one to show that really is traditional. Because if you watch it, they jump at first when she like raises her hand to challenge her brother. Yeah, she's just like, "I'm freezing. Can we get the hell out of here?"
Yeah.
So I need one of those at least.
Yeah, and then such a dope setting to have a fight. Is those falls with all the music and everybody dancing, and you get a really nice.
They could really use that joke as a way of making it into another film.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see that. The other thing is with the Black Panther dead, anyone assuming the mantle of Black Panther is really kind of a pretender, unless you get more of that heart-shaped flower.
Yeah.
So you could.
Oh, that's an easy fix, though.
Well, yeah. Oh, no, it's a perfectly easy fix, but it's where you put it. So if you have this civil war, you got your M'Baku, whether he be Skrull M'Baku or regular M'Baku, they did the Jabari, so they're like the white gorilla tribe. He can have his own. I don't know if he eats like a golden banana and he gets to be the white gorilla. I don't know how that religion works. I'm Catholic. But you could have her face him and win, lose, maybe she loses, whatever. Maybe he yields the throne to her, but accepts the mantle of like the pretend Panther, so that they kind of become like a power couple. But then they're trying to force her to marry like somebody else because, they don't want to put all their Panthers in one house. And,
is there any law that says only men can take over?
No, Okoye could do it too. Just as easily, except she's protecting the throne.
I mean, as far as royalty goes, like, I know it's primogeniture, like you have to be royal blood to be the king unless you challenge the king.
Well, I think the very idea that she could challenge means that she could be queen. And also a society that puts that many badass bitches around their king, doesn't have a problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I feel like if anything, someone would have to challenge her for royalty.
Well, no, because again, she's been gone too. She was never queen. Like, how long does your claim on this? You have a blood claim, but all those tribes have the same blood claim.
Yeah, but at the end
that's the whole point of the challenge.
T'Challa's still the king.
No, he's in the palace.
Yeah, like, I would argue that.
You can argue it all you want.
Another rule during the 5 years, and quite frankly, how do you know Shuri wasn't there? Has that been confirmed that Shuri?
Yeah, it's in one of the supplemental. Okay. Yeah, no, it's in one of the official like Marvel press release. No, his mom still would have been here. But here's the thing: you got to get like real white and nerdy with this. The mother is T'Challa's mother, I believe, but not Shuri's mother. Shuri is T'Challa's half sister by another wife. So she's younger. That's awkward. She's like, yeah, she's the consort. It's not like the queen mother. T'Chaka was kind of a dick. So where he left that, she's a consort, but she's not of that bloodline to rule.
Did they establish that in the films though?
No, I don't think so.
It might be the
That's
comics.
what I'm saying. Like in the comics, it's a very different story than what the film continuity is. They never say that in Black Panther.
All right. It's something to consider.
Okay.
One time I got drunk and I tried to convince Gordon that the guy who founded the KKK was also the guy who founded the Boy Scouts, and I based that solely on the fact that they were a fat white dude with 3 names.
It's pretty funny.
I've read a lot of shit and it gets mixed up in my head.
Oh my god!
Honestly, we can just solve this whole thing if we recast Black Panther as Ryan Gosling.
Why not?
Wait, what if that we just show the end of Endgame and the cops can come? Like, oh, the tragic ending to Endgame was somebody reported a suspicious burglar. Long story short, T'Challa's dead.
Yeah, some angry white Karen was like, they're shooting fireworks off right over my house.
Wakanda's burning. We're sorry.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They really just drive home the Black Lives Matter plot. I got it.
Yeah, it's I mean, I don't know the plot. I think if the way I'm pitching it, the plot is kind of the rise of Shuri. Like let's put some obstacles in her way, let her win or lose. But I'd like to see the same way we saw I shouldn't give J.J. Abrams too much shit because I'm also very, very mirrory. But to have the second battle, like Shuri find or create through science the heart-shaped flower and secretly,
how has she not synthesized it already?
Well, just for her to take.
That's a good
So
point.
one of the things I was reading is that there's, and this is probably not MCU, this is probably comics, but the huge vibranium mound that's there from the initial hit that they all farm and stuff creates a lot of mutations just by its very nature, which is where these original deities came from and these flowers changed and all that other shit. So it's possible, I think, for her to find some that was just previously lost. If you don't want to involve the Skrulls or you want to make it a Skrulls twist, I think you could bring in a formerly here unseen bad guy that's of whoever the shapeshifter sect is, whether it's Snake or Gator. But I do believe that they had planned to bring in Nomar as it's he's not the porn Nomar, not Nomar Ramon, but Nomar. He's like the Mariner. He is essentially the Aquaman of the Marvel universe. Mm-hmm. He rules over Atlantis, and he ended up in X-Men, I think, at one point, and then in the X-Men versus Avengers, he fucking torches Wanda, and they end up at war, and it gets crazy. But that was, I think, they were going to do is the clash of the two kings, the king of Atlantis versus the king of Wakanda.
Ooh, I mean, there's like 2 or 3 movies coming out between now and when Black Panther was slated to come out. You have the Eternals and Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange. Maybe something in those is going to open something up. Honestly, if I'm writing this movie, I open it to T'Challa's dead and everyone's got his feet.
See, the funeral part's easy. You could deep fake a funeral. You got enough pictures of him, and he's the
close the casket and put it in the ground, and you sit there and say this fucking sucks.
Oh no, he's the king. He's the king. He's got to lay in state. You gotta bring me the Winter Soldier. Let me see that bitch cry. I want somebody to put a little mini shield on the casket or some shit. You got your you got your cameos there. Yeah, but in the beginning,
I'm telling you, man,
literally,
you guys are not going to like
the movie is
the Marvel Universe handles his death. It's going to be something that they are going to profit off of.
I mean, I want them to profit. I want them to prosper.
And not make it a plot point that drives the film. I'd just rather be look, man. When they swap, and this is the same thing, but when they swapped out Don Cheadle for Terrence Howard, in Iron Man, he literally walks in the room and he's like, "I'm here if you need to deal with it." That's his literal dialogue, which is just kind of that's tied to the audience. But yes, we realize we changed the guy up. Fucking accept it and move on. Because Terrence Howard was stupid and had no foresight, and now he's doing shit like Empire, which is just trash TV.
Well, that
could have been War Machine.
Yeah, but that was money. That was pride and money because Robert Downey Jr. was nowhere at this point. He made like 75 grand or something for the first Iron Man. It was low.
It was a little more than that, but it wasn't.
But it might have been like, let's say it was $500,000.
Now he's worth $500,000.
Yeah, it was $500,000 to like $5 million, and I think Terrence Howard, based off of like the Oscar buzz of Hustle and Flow, had like $2 million as War Machine, but then he wanted compensation commensurate to Tony Stark, and they're like, well, it's Iron Man, it's not Iron Hustle and Flow. Like, you know, this fucking film made $300 million. Like, yeah, we're gonna pay the lead, but we could just shit can you and get Mickey Rourke as the bad guy if we want to save some money.
Which they did.
I love Ryan Coogler that he pulled this fucking rabbit out of his hat, because nobody thought that this would fly, and it became, you know, one of the biggest Marvel movies ever. And I just don't want to see them fuck up that franchise. I have faith in Coogler that he will at least attempt to save it. But again, like we talked about with the insurance companies, I think like if you get Kathleen Kennedy involved instead of the guy from Swingers, Favreau, like whoever their counterparts are in the Marvel part of this business, they could really fuck things up.
Listen, man, I really honestly think that they're going to figure out a way to finagle it into Killmonger becoming the new Black Panther with a better foresight and appreciation for Wakanda.
I mean, I'll swallow that load, but I won't enjoy it. Like I won't wear it on my face. I won't lick it off the floor.
To do that would so cheapen that character,
bro.
I'm not saying Disney's above doing that. They are not above doing that. It would be really disappointing to do that. Killmonger's his whole redemption is a sacrifice.
Yeah, once I read they were bringing him back, like I knew something was up, but now I'm just like, they're definitely gonna make him the new.
Yeah, it would be a huge mistake. I think that would be a terrible mistake. I wouldn't bring the character back at all, let alone.
Yeah, and that was my initial pitch for the whole tumultuous times of this civil war in Wakanda, would be that there were people, especially during the snap, that bought into Killmonger's shit like that.
Because Killmonger had a point.
Oh, he had a great point, but he redeemed himself, and I just feel like he could be the Che Guevara to Wakabi's Fidel Castro. You know, here's your dead martyr, but I'm gonna get up to some evil shit in this small country, and you know, and
but
do
then
it.
Isn't that the first movie all over again?
No.
50-50.
I mean, they were never really in turmoil. They were fighting, but I want to see an execution of this. And you got to remember, the entire fucking world changes post snap. Like you have half of the population of the Earth with a new lease on life, son. Like you got the other half desperately need therapy, but the ones that just came back, and like it's a beautiful thing for them. But I think when you're writing, at least for my writing, I try to have most scenes have conflict. Just conflict's more interesting.
Sure.
And I think there's a huge conflict in Birthright versus doing the job that you were returned to.
You're also allowed to challenge that Birthright. That's kind of one of the things that makes Wakanda interesting as a state, is just this idea that, like, you know, it's very postman. Like, if you want to fucking stand up and challenge me, be my guest. And if you win, you wear the crown, and we do what you do. That was one of the most interesting parts of that, was when Killmonger won, watching Okoye struggle with that allegiance. So, am I defending T'Challa and his family, or am I defending the throne of Wakanda? Like, what's my duty? And the duty is the throne. And when she saw that this guy was fucking twisted up, then her duty to the throne kind of obligated her.
I think once she finds out that the rightful king is still alive, she keeps her duty to the throne. It's just the guy on the throne no longer.
The right king at that point.
He is.
He lost fair and square.
No, he never quit, and he didn't die. If you he didn't.
Actually, no, McDevitt, you make a good point.
There's no WWE rules where he got counted out because you threw him out of the ring.
No, you're absolutely right.
He didn't go over the top rope.
Yeah.
That's a very fair point. I never thought of that. He never quit, and he didn't die.
I have never felt like such a naive child than I have in this more recent rewatch of the film, and just shocked by the people that turned on their king. And again, that then strengthens my desire to write it as a civil war, because I look at our country and I think you could mirror a lot of our country there, escaping some of the racial issues for tribal, socio-political, and just straight political. Because I'll tell you what, like, realistic, I don't want to get political super on this podcast, but if we do get Trump out of office in February, we still have all his fucking people here. Like, we can't be like, yo, Donald, get your peoples. Like, the shitheads are gonna stay here. And
that's why you have to, and I fucking hate saying this because I do not like Joe Biden at all, but you have to hope for a massive landslide win. It has to be so definitive that it's like a knife to the heart. It can't be just like, well, he won by like 3 or 4 points. No, it has to be like you got crushed, and now you gotta go.
Yeah. Well, luckily for us, because I don't want to be writing the United States of America Civil War movie, Civil War II. Luckily for us, there's like a 4-month window where he could just fucking shit can himself and let Pence pardon him and fucking waddle off onto the golf course.
Yeah.
Let's talk about happier things like Dead Panthers. Like, we talked about, the Battle of the Two Kings, or my push for Shuri and like her Skywalker arc, rise to power, Iron Panther.
That's what I'm hoping for.
I'd actually be okay with an Iron Panther. Look, Shuri has no fight skills whatsoever. She just does this with her blasty things and shoots at people she can't fight, or at least she hasn't shown that she can fight across.
She's young. Like, all she needs to do is go to like some of the swampier areas of Wakanda and carry Okoye like a backpack for like 3 minutes, and do a couple of flips, and all of a sudden she's a ninja.
But like the idea of an Iron Panther is kind of interesting. I still think it should be Okoye. I think getting her to lead the Dora Milaje would be a stretch. But here's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Shuri rule and Okoye be the Black Panther.
I mean, I'll let you have that if I get my white gorilla. God damn it, I want some M'Baku.
No, I would love to see M'Baku. M'Baku's badass, man. He looked like the big surprise of Black Panther with how much people like him.
To me, what he looked like was Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man, just on so much steroids.
Yeah,
wow, that's crazy accurate.
You know what I mean? Like a bee stung Wesley Snipes, and then just this guy's and the actor brings so much. Like the whole barking down the colonizer shit, that was all improv on his part. And I wish that happened more often, because I tend to just go on and on. If there was a room full of black guys that could just bark me down when I've hit my time, that would be wonderful. But so
M'Baku's badass.
I mean, I would like to see the Atlantis thing. I think you could slide that at this point. I think that enough of a hand has been dealt to the writers that they could slide that to Black Panther 3. But one of the problems is that these movies don't exist in a vacuum. So, Kevin Feige or whatever, he has his plan for all of these films coming forward. So I don't know how much, you have to almost keep it internal to the film. So
it's like I said, this seems to be like the first time Marvel's really come up against it, where all the chess pieces that they've lined up, someone made a really quick move on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that strategy, I don't know. It's like a spider web to me. Like you have this beautiful web and it's all put up perfectly, and you knock one thing off and it just starts picking off.
Because
it's crazy what's going to happen to that.
This was one of your entry points for the X-Men, because in the comics, at least, T'Challa ends up married to Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So
I did not know that.
Yes, she becomes the Queen of Wakanda, and there's a couple of different civil wars. I think they come on opposite sides.
And they're neighboring states. Wakanda and South Africa, at least the comics. Wakanda and South Africa are neighboring states.
Yeah, all right. So I gotta read some more of these comics. I know way more about the comics.
Yo, go on. You got an iPad? Get your iPad. Go on Comixology, and I think they do either 7 days or 30 days free for unlimited reading, and most of the Black Panther books are on there now. I just tore through.
Or get some PIM particles and go back in time to when you beat up a lot, and fantasize about ways you're gonna kick the shit out of your bullies, and that'll drive you to comedy.
Yes.
It is. I have to say, it pisses me off a little bit. I got beat up a lot as a kid, and then I got big, and people stopped fucking with me. But I grew up reading those comics, and I got the shit kicked out of me for always having them on me. And now they're cool.
Yeah, and I wouldn't risk having them on me, and not because somebody's going to kick the shit out of me, but they might crease my pages.
You lose the value.
The worst thing that happened to me. Fucking done.
Yeah, you're like peanut butter and jelly hands all over your collector's 4 different.
Well, I started smoking. I went away to college, and in 1998, you could still smoke in the dorms. Like Seton Hall hadn't burnt to the ground yet. And when I brought my shit home from the end of my freshman year, like everything was yellow because there were 9 of us in that suite and 7 of us smoked. So all my comic books just stink like Marlboro Reds. All like signed clerk scripts and shit are just pure yellow. So yeah, but those comics, unless you really took care of them, like or came from like a divorced family where one parent at least was feeding them to you, they're not worth shit anymore.
Not in this Corona. They ain't worth a goddamn thing. They got money for comics.
Oh my god. I'm glad I kept basketball cards.
Yeah, dude, I went through my shit a couple of years ago, and I found boxes full of pristine baseball cards. Dude, I have Derek Jeter's like minor league card. I have a McGuire rookie somewhere. Like the cards I found are ridiculous, and I put them in a fucking box. And 20 years later,
look at you. Got some beer money.
Hey, right. Oh, but tell us more about how you got beat up. Got your geek privilege finding rookie cards in a box.
I got my black belt, people stopped doing that shit.
What's your black belt in?
I have Shinryu and Cyber Jiu-Jitsu.
There you go. I can't wait till because I'm studying business now. I'm going to get an MBA. And afterwards on LinkedIn, I'm going to put Master of Business Administration and Okinawan Karate. Because why not?
Put CEO of Antifa on there, too.
But that's one of those things like, if you can, why not? Like, the comic books, that was real life comic books. Okinawa, where we took our 1960s, we took these GIs and we sent them over to Japan, and they learned karate because these guys are, it looks cool, it's fun to watch. We've had a film industry based around it for 30 years, but they're all 5'4" and 5'5". So you take these hayseed ass 6'2", 6'3" Southerners, drop them in Japan, and go, oh yeah, I could kick that guy from across the room. Oh, look at me, I'm great. Like, no wonder. Like, that's where America fell in love with it. They're like, yeah, we can beat the shit out of these people. This is wonderful. I got my black belt in 2 years.
Because we've been eating like corn-fed beef.
It's like Steven Seagal went over there and just married the head guy's daughter. He's like, yeah, come get her. I'm spinning her on my dick.
Dude,
8th on, 9th on, 10th on.
Like, people make fun of him now because now he's like a piece of shit, but back then, that guy was winning tournaments left and right, dude. Steven Seagal was kind of a badass back in the day.
He's always been a piece of shit. He was just a tall
No,
piece of
totally,
shit.
but I just mean like he dude could fight. Like he was a
he could fight back then. Like you
shit fighter.
Back then.
Yeah, his Aikido is fucking balls, dude. That he fucked people up with that.
I've never seen proof of that. Okay, go.
You can read his history. He was pretty... Dude, you know what I saw the other day?
You can read Frank Dukes' history too. It's still complete.
Dude, I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme in the background of a scene in Breakin'.
Yeah, he's in he does basically the same thing that he does in that movie where he was twins. He wears like a black wife beater and he does like a little pop and lock and some splits and shit.
Like going like this in the background while other people are doing cool stuff.
Here, you want to talk about Disney cashing in on the death of Black Panther? Do you know that Jean-Claude Van Damme made Bloodsport for $25,000?
What?
Yeah, he got paid $25,000 for Bloodsport.
That budget on that film is literally like $1.5 million. They had no budget on that movie.
Damn.
You just happen to be like the guy that started, between that and Kickboxer. He created the late 80s, early 90s karate style action film, which it's kind of funny because that shit had been around in like Japan and China since like the 50s. But you slap a white guy on it and
it might have been different if Bruce Lee didn't get a headache at his mistress's place and then have an allergy to the aspirin, and his mistress would not call the ambulance because he wasn't supposed to be there, and I don't blame her for that because Bruce Lee would beat the shit out of a woman, and I don't mean that as like a construct where like what woman could fight Bruce Lee. I mean Bruce Lee liked to beat women. His wife could take a punch.
Jesus Christ.
Oof. I'm not going to say anything about Bruce Lee because I'm scared his ghost will still kick my ass.
Yo, for real.
Did you ever see that shitty movie where the ghost trains the kid? It's no retreat, no surrender. Kid learns. He moves to Seattle and the bullies beat him up, so he learns karate or kung fu, Tao Kwando from Jeet Kune Do. He learns Jeet Kune Do from the ghost of Bruce Lee.
That is ridiculous. Has more people profited off his death?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Raymond Chow made a fortune.
Okay.
But Quentin Tarantino just had him in a movie, and Jason Scott Lee played him in a really bad biopic. Yeah, they made a lot of money off of dead Bruce Lee.
I mean, I've been to his gravesite. It's because he's buried right next to his son in Seattle, and they have like a bench there, and there's real sad people make like pilgrimage. Like I was just, I had done the walking tour. And like, hey, was see Bruce Lee's grave? I was like, okay, yeah. But people go there. They leave like cards and flowers and shit like written to him, like seafood. I'm like, he wasn't your seafood, dude. You were sperm when he died. But we joke about it. Maybe they'll be visiting Bozeman's grave like that. He did mean a lot to a generation.
Yeah.
Oh my god! So
dude, that guy,
much.
He became an icon by playing icons. Well, like he grew to icon status by being Jackie Robinson and Thurgood Marshall and fucking.
It was essentially it was Will Smith's game plan, but with Oscar caliber acting.
Yes, it was a much better actor.
Oh man, if Will Smith could have done it, he would have.
Oh, he
doesn't have the chops.
No, he doesn't.
I've liked Will Smith as an actor in precisely 2 movies, and it was I Am Legend. I thought he gave a pretty compelling performance. When he had to choke out the dog, I'm not gonna lie, that shit fucked me up.
Okay.
Bad Boys 2. Because he was funny as hell.
So Mike Lowry and I Am Legend.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Is that your ringtone, or are you just watching other shit while we're doing it?
Nah, that was a ringtone actually.
You just said, bitch, you got coronavirus.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's funny.
Yeah, no, I mean, Will Smith is fine. It's just, that's it. He's fine. Like, he's not great. He's
He's
entertaining.
He's been coasting on being the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air for like 6 years.
He acts as well as he raps. Like, he is your middle of the road creative fighter in any game. But, it's
actually I lied. I liked him in Hancock.
Yeah,
Hancock
was pretty solid. I enjoyed Hancock.
He hasn't made too many turds that I can think of off the top of my head, like 7 pounds or whatever.
After Earth.
Yeah, after that I think the Scientology people kind of pushed him into After Earth and his wife. But just those 2 bad decisions.
Go work with your son.
I blame science. Yeah. Oh, I blame him for that more than anything. Giving us Jaden Smith. Like
yeah.
The fact that we have Cobra Kai is amazing because I believe they had to sign off on that because he went and bought the Karate Kid as a property to put his stupid kid in it, and then move that kid to China where they don't even do karate and still call the movie The Karate Kid.
I have to say though, Jackie Chan is great in that movie.
Well, I mean, Jackie Chan.
Best acting, straight up acting I've ever seen out of Jackie Chan. He's excellent. Okay. The kid's terrible.
The kid, yeah.
Kid's trash.
He had one good scene in there. It was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I hate it here. That's a great scene.
Dude,
that was right up there with Dawson and Varsity Blues. Like, I don't want your life. That's just your
life.
It's just your trailer. It's your trailer line, and then you move on.
The fucking Dawson. What happened to the Dawson? Where'd he go?
The last time I saw him was Strike Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, where him and Jason Biggs were the pie fucker, and
I saw him in an episode of Room 104, and he was pretty good.
Yeah, he's been embracing the fact that he's James Vanderbeek.
Yeah,
that's his big thing now.
I mean, at that point,
be like Neil Patrick Harris, and it's not working for him.
I am 100% convinced that the only reason Neil Patrick Harris is at all famous is because of Harold and Kumar. That's the only thing. That was the whole driving force behind him becoming a thing again.
Was that right prior to How I Met Your Mother?
It was about 3 or 4 years before How I Met Your Mother.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure he got that role because of how he was in Harold and Kumar.
Oh, yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
He's a very similar character.
Oh, man. Who's your bad guys?
Yeah, like, who do you want to see? Forget who your Black Panther is. And you can say M'Baku. That might make me happy. But, like, who do you want to see? Because I personally would like for Killmonger to stay dead. And they've talked about the King of Atlantis, but who does the Black Panther, the Iron Panther, however we're going to go, who needs to get smacked?
Panther, it'll be cool to see the Iron Panther have to go against Killmonger again or some outside force. I don't know who exactly, but they're going to have to make up some villain just for her intentionally to protect. It would have to be her protecting Wakanda, her fending off an old enemy, and if it's an Iron Panther, she's going to have to do everything in one film.
I kind of like Kraven the Hunter.
Ooh.
That's a very good guy for especially for an African setting.
Yeah, I like Kraven. I kind of wish they would have kept Claw around.
Yeah,
sometimes
you end up in a duffel bag. Shit happens.
Yeah, it's a bummer. They brought him in, and I thought he was going to be kind of a driving force of Black Panther storyline, and he just kind of turned out to be a nothing burger. And I feel like they wasted Andy Serkis. That guy's a solid actor.
Oh, he's great. You know what I'd like is if they said they were bringing Killmonger back, but instead they got Nick Cannon. And it's just this diminutive, fucked up, no longer cool Killmonger. It's just Nick Cannon with a bunch of bumps.
That's
the Killmonger that Black Panther 2 deserves. Nick Cannon.
You could do Mayonnaise.
I don't think I've gone that deep down the well.
Manape is he's a Black Panther. I mean, it's basically M'Baku. I just don't want it to be M'Baku. But
Okay. Oh yeah, so it's the white gorilla.
yeah.
I gotta go back because I met the original writer for Black Panther when I went to a Comic-Con up in Connecticut. So I really gotta go dive in.
Which writer?
Older Jewish guy with glasses. I got a picture with him.
See, Gordon meets a lot of people at these Comic Cons. Most of them are porn stars. Those he remembers. The older Jewish fella.
Jack Kirby?
I think so.
Oh wait, you mean you met the writer, like the creator of the comics, not like the.
I think Kirby was created.
Yeah,
I'm looking it up now.
I think it's Kirby and Lee, right?
It is Kirby and Lee, but you see, and that's the thing, man. Lee gets all the credit. Kirby did all the fucking work. Lee was the company man.
Yeah.
Who was like the face of Marvel. But Kirby did all of the work.
So how did he get all of the credit though?
Because he did the letters column. He did the interviews. He was the Dana White to the Fertitas. You know, like they might have put up all the.
Let me ask you this: who are the Pips?
Oh,
exactly.
You have okay. All right.
No one remembers the Pips.
Well, I feel like you mean he was more of an Iwerks, if you know that guy. Do you know
Iwerks?
Iwerks. He was the guy that created Mickey Mouse with Walt Disney.
Yes.
He was his creative partner, and after about 5 years, he walked on Walt. Over something because they drew this like fucked up rabbit or something, and then they got fired from that, and so he was like, let's do our own shit. It's like, I'd never want to get fired again. But
Walt wanted to name him Mortimer Mouse.
But the first
his wife is like, that's the stupidest name I've ever heard for a character.
Walt, I know you hate the Jews, but have you considered a different racial slur? Maybe we should name him Mickey. I find it, and then the Iwerks actually ends up coming back like 5 or 10 years after he walked as an employee instead of like he could have been the
generic animator.
Yeah, he could have been the Eduardo Saverin of the Disney company, and it's for those of you that don't know, that's the second Spider-Man in the Social Network, who just took all his Facebook money and moved back to like Argentina or wherever he was from.
Smart man though. He's worth like, I don't know, $5-6 billion now or something like that. I think he took $2 billion from Facebook when that split happened. Mm-hmm. What Zuckerberg had to pay out, it's undisclosed, but it was a lot of fucking money. He paid off the Winkle guy too.
Yeah, well, when you have that much money to throw around, short of buying Wakanda, what are you going to do with it?
I mean, you buy Wakanda. That's what I would fucking do. I'd start Wakanda if I had that.
Well, I think we're doing that now. Akon. Akon is actually trying to create his own Wakanda named Akon City over, I think it's in Senegal. And but it's forecast to cost like $6 billion. And so I don't know where he's getting that money from.
Killer Mike tried to do it. Killer Mike started
I love Killer Mike.
Like his own sovereign state and had elections. Yeah. He got elected out of office in his own like nation state that he created. They elected somebody else over Killer Mike, and he had to suck it up to maintain democracy.
Unfortunately, that's what happened in Egypt. That's why Egypt's a mess, because we let them have democracy, and they immediately elected one of the Muslim Brotherhood, and then we're like, oh, we don't like this. Let's get that guy out.
Mubarak,
and we basically, Mubarak was the guy he was the strongman that kept everything going. Like, I was there in 2008, 2009.
That was the guy they asked.
Yeah, it was a wonderful place. But they had all the people were super nice. They had this whole, it was backsheesh. It was like tipping tourist industry. You had to tip for like everything. Like if you went to a shitter, there was a guy standing there that had all the toilet paper in a backpack. You would have to tip him to get the toilet paper that he had stolen from the bathroom before you got there. And that was his job. And if enough tourists got the shits, like he could eat. So it wasn't the greatest economy, but it was still it was comparable to like our porn industry. Tourism was like about a $4 to $5 billion economy there, and that's completely gone. Like I saw it on Vice. It's just sad. Like the places that were teeming with people now have like 2 sad vendors and like 3 lost tourists. But we taught the army there how to take people out of power. First we did it. Then we had them do it, and then the second guy, they did it. They're like, "Fuck this! We'll just we'll get rid of rulers and we'll rule as the army." How's that? And it's bad, but that also just goes to my whole. It's not like a civil war in Africa is that far fetched for the Wakanda movie.
Nope, not that far.
Like there are 3 or 4 countries in Africa right now that are engaged in full-out civil wars.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
one of them split, right?
No, I found a dude that I met. For Black Panther, it was Kirby, and I met Robert Altman.
Okay,
Robert Altman.
Altman. Or they call him Bob Altman. He's one of the original inkers for Black Panther.
Was it the guy that made that movie that had the lady with no pants? Yes, yeah. That was a fun time in my early teens. Yeah, Julianne Moore. Yep.
It is literally the least sexy a vagina has ever been on film in the history of vaginas on film.
You don't watch enough porn, sir.
Watching Julianne Moore yell at Matthew Modine while she blow dries her pubes is about as unsexy as it gets.
No,
I've for yelling at Matthew Modine.
I've seen some on the screen that look like they were in like the 3rd act of a Rocky film.
Oh yeah.
Cut me, Mick. Cut me
now.
I mean, I think we've kind of touched on everything.
Yeah.
I don't know if we solved anything. I don't know if we had a common consensus as to
I don't think we're
where
come
we
up
would
with a common consensus. All we can agree on is that we don't think that Disney should profit off of his death. I think we all can agree on that.
I mean, I don't know how they would,
but do we think they're going to do it? That's the problem.
I mean, you can want in this hand, and shit in this one.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know that they're going to profit off of his death. Like, I would be disturbed if they were using his picture and the promotional stills for the second film and stuff like that.
I would not be surprised to see that.
I mean, wasn't Leia in the promotional stills for Rise of Skywalker? I'm pretty sure she's on the poster.
Yeah, I don't know, but she's not the main character.
No,
and by the way, they just killed the wrong people in that because there was no chemistry left between Han and Leia, and I get that they tried to make that fit the story, but it didn't. Like, I don't even know that Han really wanted to be there. Like, he just
It kind of like he fell into it by accident and was like, ah, shit.
I really want a new plane. I could use a new airplane, so I'll do it. But I'm not going to like that bitch.
Well, I'm pretty sure Harrison Ford said, like, I'll do it, but you have to kill me in the first episode.
That's possible.
Gotta go, round 1. Gotta go. He wanted to die in Jedi. He wanted them to kill the character off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's one of that rare club that's been in more than 2 trilogies. There's, because he's got Indiana Jones, which is up to 5 now, right?
Yeah.
Going to 5?
Yeah, if they ever finish it.
So you got Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Then for Stallone, you got Rocky and Rambo.
Technically, you could say Harrison Ford's in 3 trilogies because the original Star Wars and then the second Star Wars trilogy, or the third Star Wars trilogy, I guess it is.
Oh, wow.
So Mel Gibson, Lethal Weapon, and Mad Max.
Didn't make it to the 4th one, though.
No. Oh, wait, here's how we're going to establish that you and I don't have the same film tastes. You really liked Fury Road, didn't you?
I think Fury Road is going to set the action film template for the next 30 years.
Wow.
You know what it is for me? I like when movies shred their own legacy and tradition. And they made Mad Max a sidekick to a female lead character. And I think it was really ballsy of George Miller to include no opening trail of words explaining the situation, that he jumped right into the character and right into the story without providing any flashback, any backstory, anything like that. After already casting Mad Max and creating a whole new set of characters, and gave you nothing to go on other than watching the film. I think that's
but that's my thing, is there was very little story. Sure, there was no backstory, but there was very
How much
little
story do you need?
A little?
How much story was in Thunderdome?
Give me a tournament to win or a grail to find. Like, I had heard all this amazing shit about the movie going into it because he did like 90% of the stunts in lens or whatever. It was like a film geek dream. So my wife and I go for our anniversary. We're watching the movie. It's cool, you know. And even at that point, I'm still a little Tom Hardy'd out. I enjoy him when he's on. Like Peaky Blinders, he's great. But one of my complaints about him is he doesn't work with other actors well. He looks through them instead of at them.
It's like he's performing in his own movie.
Yeah, it's almost like the people are just a tennis ball on a stick, except they're not. But he treats them like they are. And it's not like extras. He treats Leonardo DiCaprio like he's not there.
I don't know, dude. He was pretty amazing in The Revenant. I just rewatched The Revenant like a week ago.
Okay, watch it again. Watch his fucking eyes whenever he's talking to DiCaprio.
Yeah, but he's playing a guy who's a traumatized lunatic. He has half his scalp ripped off. Like, you're not going to look at people in the eye either if you're like, well, half my fucking head's missing.
I would. When you looking at my head, you're looking at my head, aren't you? You're looking at my head right now.
Dude, he made Venom decent. Like, that movie's trash. And the only reason it's good is because his performance is weird and off kilter and kind of out of balance.
I liked him in Warrior, but the guy that played his brother outacted him there. I liked him in where he was twins. He was like the British crime twins. That was nice.
Oh, what the hell are the names?
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Why can't I think of the name?
Fuck.
It doesn't matter. The jury. What's the one where Bronson? The jury's still out on that for me. I enjoyed watching it, but I also think it's just fucking weird. It's a weird movie that the guy would cover himself in shit and just fight people in prison for no reason.
That's what it is. The Cray brothers. It's called
It's
called Legend.
There you go.
Yeah, Legend about the Cray brothers.
But yeah, so my wife and I are sitting there, and I'm like, "It's gonna get good. Just wait." Fucking Vinny loved this. Like, they said it's great. It's gonna be great. And now we're like 15 minutes from the end. Like, we've solidly entered denouement. And I was just like, I don't know when anything's going to happen, honey. I'm sorry. You pick the movie next time. Hey, wasn't it great that all those, guitar playing fucktards dressed like professional wrestlers strapped to trucks shot fireworks and ran around on sticks on motorcycles? Wasn't that compelling?
I love it.
Man, I thought it was so in 94, Speed set the precedent, a new precedent for action films. And it was this like propulsive, like we're not going to stop until it's over kind of action film. And that gave you stuff like Twister, or even Mission Impossible took a little bit of that. Mad Max is what that is now for the action landscape. Is this immersive? We are just going to punch you and punch you and punch you with it harder and harder. And again, I like the fact that they are like, fuck tradition. Fuck it. That's why I like episode 8 so much. Because episode 8 took everything that all of the fucking toxic fanboys love and just ripped it to shreds. And it was beautiful to watch. And it was more beautiful to watch all those people freak out about it. I almost like the impact of the film more than the film.
Yeah, I will say that for me, so you can know where I'm coming from, my favorite action film of the past 10 years, I guess, let's say, is Taken. I love Taken. Not Taken 2, not Taken 3. And if you watch Taken and you just go by Liam Neeson's dialogue only, Mills is a complete dick. He's just an awful person to everyone. But that film,
I enjoyed Taken for what it is, but it turned Liam Neeson into that.
Yeah.
well, that's what I love the meme
The
though.
guy
But
played Oscar Schindler, and now he's just beats people up at like 75
yes,
years old.
but
I love Liam, dude. I've shot photography with Liam. He's a great guy.
he was also Zeus. He was also Ra's al Ghul. He was Qui-Gon Jinn. It's not like Taken made.
Qui-Gon predates that.
That's what I'm saying. All those predate that.
No. Taken is 2003, I think, or 2004.
No, 2008 or 9.
No way. Is
yes.
It really that new?
I mean, maybe it was in France in 2007 or something, because I watched a bootleg, but I was in my apartment. It was 2008, and that's where I got tricked, because the bootleg was European standards, so there were minor deviances that they cut out of the American cinema. Like in the European version, he actually sticks the steel nails into the guy's knees and then hooks electric clamps up to him. And in America, he just puts it on the lawn chair. And there were like little differences too. I mean, I've seen the movie a lot. So like, there's one point where he steals a guy's car by like smashing his head against the roof of the car, and then getting in. But in the European version, he smashed the guy's head against the car, and when his guy's head landed on the bottom sill of the door, that he stepped on it, and then he got in the car. Yeah. So that Luc Besson French version was much just meaner.
I do have to say, I had a moment with Taken when I saw it the first time that was like Paul Rudd in 40-Year-Old Virgin when he's watching The Bourne Identity, where I'm like, I always thought that Liam Neeson was kind of a cake eater, but he's kicking the shit out of people. I was pretty impressed with it. It's weird now when he does it though. Like their editing is so choppy. I noticed. So there was this terrible movie. With John
it's very boring. The editing, it's very Bourne Identity.
And they use it to cover up the slowness of the actors. Bourne Identity, it made sense given the material, and that's kind of a Paul Greengrass style in the later 2 or 3 movies. But the way that they use it now to mask older actors' just inability to fight. In a way that can help you. That's why the worst is so impressive.
If you ever watch the old Highlander series, when they would speed up the sword fighting to make it look like they knew what they were doing, you're like, but that guy just blinked 27 times.
I don't.
About you, Gordon? What's your favorite action movie of the past 10 years?
Favorite action movie of the past 10 years? That's hard for me because, I'm not an action movie guy, but I watch a lot of action movies.
Right.
But I'll tell you this: I have been watching a lot of John Wick.
John Wick, man.
That first film's fantastic.
Dude, they're all fantastic. They get better and better.
I liked 2, but as a New Yorker and you as well, like that movie's infuriating. Like he gets on the subway at the fucking Path and goes uptown when he would be going to Jersey, and it's dumb because he lives in fucking Jersey. It makes sense for him to go to Jersey. So like reaching 34th Street, like, no, that's not how it works. If you got on the wrong goddamn path, if you wanted to go to Jersey 33rd, you got to get on the other path. Like just shit like that.
Or that he's able to ride a horse down the street in Manhattan like it's not
happening. And they did that to me. I was just really mad about it. But other than that, like I did like Fury Road a lot. I think I watched it at least like 5 times. And,
at least you said John Wick first.
Yeah, but Fury Road is dope.
John Wick's fantastic. Yeah, man. Dude, the thing
I like from.
Well, let me ask you this, because I have not indulged in over 16 years.
Okay.
Were you high on pot when you watched Fury Road? Because I can see being
I was
high
drinking,
on pot,
but I wasn't going crazy. But
not LSD, but I could see pot making that film any film better. But
I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I said, I think it's setting a new template for. I think it's set a new template for action films.
You know what scares me is I find that some of the films throughout my entire life that I enjoy more than anything are written by this guy Robert Mark Kamen. Do you know who he is? I mean, he wrote Taken. He wrote The Karate Kid. Let me see. Let me pull up his thing here.
He wrote The Fifth Element too. He does a lot of writing for
with Luc Besson.
Luc Besson.
He did The Transporter, Taken, The Karate Kid, The Punisher.
Columbiana.
He did an uncredited rewrite on The Punisher.
Wait, like the movie The Punisher?
Yeah, the 89 one. So that would have been Dolph.
The Dolph Lundgren one.
Yeah. He did Gladiator, but that's the boxing Gladiator, not the Russell Crowe one. It was the Horn wants us to kill each other. That one with I think Cuba Gooding Jr. was in it.
Dude, he also wrote Angel Has Fallen.
He wrote The Power of One, which if you've never seen it, is a fucking great movie. It's Steven Dorff in apartheid. It's a weird flex, but it's a good movie.
Mid-90s, right?
Yeah. He wrote Lethal Weapon 3, Under Siege, The Fugitive. Oh, these are uncredited rewrites.
Kiss of the Dragon.
Yeah. Apparently they bring him in for a lot of uncredited rewrites.
Oh, he wrote the Oscar winner Banditas.
I don't remember that movie, but I think it's probably because I watched it in slow-mo.
I think it's Penelope Cruz and Salma
Hayek. Yeah. So I definitely probably watched it in slow-mo.
And Steve Zahn.
Columbiana.
Columbiana was dope.
Columbiana. Yeah, I like Zoe Saldana. I'll watch Columbiana.
Yeah, and that's a franchise. There's actually, you know what? I'd have to think about it, but I'll keeping up on that double franchise club because he's got the Fallen movies, and he's in a fuck ton of shit.
Who?
Gerard Butler.
Oh yeah. Those Fallen movies get trash after that first one, though.
It's Die Hard. It's Die Hard meets Scandal. I don't care about the president. I really don't ever.
Yeah. And it's something that bums me out about those movies. Aaron Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart is a really, really talented actor. If you ever watch stuff that he's done with Neil LaBute, like The Company of Men.
The Company of Men. That's fantastic. Have you ever seen that? Gordon, have you seen that?
No.
It's a fucked up movie. Watch it.
It is way fucked. It's brilliant.
It's based on a play, and it's essentially a three-hander. There's a deaf girl, there's Two-Face from the Batman movies, and then this little nerdy fella. And they get into a bet over who can seduce the deaf girl while they're all like just building. They're all on a business trip building like some tower for like 6 months.
They're away for a few months. And the bet isn't just let's get the deaf girl. The idea is let's find some girl who's conventionally pretty, but there's something fucked up about her. We both date her and make her think that we're in love with her, and then yank the rug out from under her. It is fucked up. It is real vintage Neil LaBute. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's fucked up, but it's also
what's the name of this again?
In the Company of Men.
Company of Men. All right.
Yeah, check that out.
Everything Neil LaBute. So Neil LaBute actually did the remake of Death at a Funeral. That's probably the most slapsticky movie he's done. Otherwise, his shit is fucking dark, and it's really, really good. And he did Your Friends and Neighbors. Yeah, that was Neil LaBute.
All right. So we hit the hour mark. I'm going to close with this question. I want to thank you both for doing this. It was very fun. It became more of a discussion, less of a righty thing, but we'll work with it in the future. I tried to get Minus, and he was busy or whatever, but I think have I told you I want to do the John Minus movie? Have I pitched this to you yet?
No, not yet.
Okay, so it's in the vein of the 40-Year-Old Virgin. I want to do it where it's like the Decepticomics. Like, you're a group of guys, and John's always looking for love, and he's always coming up with like the Charlie Brown of dating. Like they just yank the football away. It never works out for John. And you guys, the Decepticomics, basically come up with the thesis that he is aiming too early, too high. He's aged out of first wife material. Okay. And if he will just play ball and go after widows and divorcees and like battered women and like aunt's friends and stuff like that he will clean up. And so each one of you takes your shot at fixing him up with someone. So it's almost the same structure as Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. Like, you know, you got your 4 or 5 freaks that each one of his friends hooks him up with.
Okay.
And it would open with him doing stand-up being miserable and close with him on the microphone, like being heartfelt and, you know, like your swells rise speech, but he's giving the best man speech at one of the other friends' weddings.
I like this.
Yeah, I mean, it's an idea that I would love to flesh out with him, but I just can't get the guy on board. And for me, you know, I would call it like squad goals or some shit. Like,
dude, I like that. I like this. I like the title already. I'm down.
All right, well, let's see if we can hook that up. And but so I'm gonna hit you guys with this one, and this is the last question, and then we'll sign off. Who would you recast Black Panther as if you had to? If we're gonna pretend that, if we're gonna pull the roadie, as it were, and just bring a new guy in and bet that, you know, 40% of the audience doesn't notice.
Ooh,
who could carry this mantle, this franchise?
You know what sucks about that is that all of the people I just thought of casting are already in the franchise.
Yeah, me too.
That's what.
Like, I have Daniel Kaluuya rattling around in my head. I just think that guy is such a fucking spectacular actor. I think he should be the new James Bond, quite frankly. Yeah, dude, he's British and he'd kill it. He would crush it.
I would rather. I mean, if we were going Bond, no.
Don't say it.
Oh no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to skew that old.
60 years old, can't do Idris.
No, I'm not doing Idris. Like, if we're just going with young black actors that could carry the Bond franchise, I would take the other Brit from Beat the Block or Attack the Block. Yeah, Boyega.
Ooh.
He's
Boyega could make a decent Black Panther.
He could. I don't think he wants to be in another marquee.
No, he's pretty pissed off about his color being used to promote Star Wars and then being left behind.
This is honestly the perfect environment because there's not a lot of colorism in Wakanda.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a curveball or a screwball out there, and I'm gonna say Donald Glover.
I thought about Donald Glover. You know who else I thought about? The guy that's in Atlanta with Donald Glover, not the cousin. The guy that was the gay kidnappee and Get Out.
Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah. Like, but I think he would have to hit the gym. They would have to put.
Yeah, dude, he's a skinny dude. Great actor, though.
He's got the look, but
really talented guy.
They would have to send him to live with Hemsworth for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And get some Black Panther muscle. But I like him. You know who I love? I'm gonna fuck his name up too. Yahya Abdul-Mateen the second.
Yeah, but he's already part of the DC franchise.
He's Black Manta, but I mean,
yeah.
It's
he was
DC.
great in Watchmen.
He's great in Watchmen. I love the.
How about Jonathan Major, the guy who's in Lovecraft Country right now?
Ooh.
There's something about him. I don't know if it's me. He's not an attractive man, right?
What's turning you off?
That's the thing. I don't know if I'm being racist or if I'm just old or if I'm clueless, but I look at him and I go, like, his face has got like a lot of sharp angles.
Yeah, man. He's got like he's manly.
He's fucking jacked too, man.
Well,
you see him in that show, dude is fucking jacked. Like, he's big. And we just watched him in The Last Black Man in San Francisco. That dude has amazing chops. My favorite movie of 2019, by the way. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's amazing.
A great movie.
I think, you know what I think it is? I think that it's with my age and my upbringing that young black men are becoming like new rap music to me. I don't get it. Like, if you're not a certain age,
that's Bieber talking, man. That is the Bieber.
Well, no, because it's the guy in Lovecraft Country where I look at him and I go, like, who
are you a leading man?
Like, who? If you were gonna go with like a white female lead, who is he the equal to? Like, is he like a Sookie Stackhouse kind of film attractive, but not like super hot?
Like a movie 8 for the
I like
life.
how you went with Sookie Stackhouse. Yo.
Well, I'm
I
trying to
get
think.
that though. I kind of get what you're saying, McDevitt, about Sookie, because like she's hot in the show.
Yeah,
but in
she's
life,
hot. She's hot for Bon Tom, Louisiana, but in
Exactly.
life, like, or the bitch in Apartment, like Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones is situationally hot, but sometimes she's also a Ritter. Like, that's what I look at this guy and like, because sometimes his face, like, he's supposed to be scared, and he just strikes me as dumb. Like, I'm not getting the Lovecraft Country guy's face, and I love the guy playing his dad.
There's times where I know he's supposed to be terrified, but it comes off as confused and like, I don't know what's going on. Like, yeah, come on, man.
And you can still be a good actor, be like that. Like Ray Fiennes. No, not Ray Fiennes. Ray Fiennes is the good one. Who's his brother? Who's the Shakespeare in Love?
Joseph.
Joseph is a good actor who always looks like he has the pressing need to take a shit.
Yes, he does. His eyes are always kind of like too big.
He's like, yes, I will say my lines, but I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as young black actors that I don't understand, there's Lovecraft Country. Because, and also, like, I mean, Omar's not a pretty man, but what's his name?
Michael K. Williams.
Michael K. Williams is a fantastic actor and just looks fucking badass. So
you know what would make a good. Go ahead. Sorry,
I'm just saying when you're sandwiched between him and Courtney B. Vance, and you just look kind of dumb, I can't. I've had a hard time rolling with it.
And the other Mouillet sister.
Oh, and the other one is this movie that's coming out, Tenet. Is that Denzel's kid?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Denzel, right now, Denzel's kid does nothing for me. I haven't seen the film. I don't think I've seen anything that he's been in. But when I look, I just see these trailers, and I'm like,
dude, I gotta say, I mean, I'm about as straight as a mile is long. John David Washington's a handsome fella.
I don't know. It's like, but who is he? Like,
short. That's the only thing that got me.
And you know what? Watch Black Klansman, man. He's excellent in Black Klansman. And there's another movie he did called Monsters, something like that. It's really, really, really good. He plays a cop.
I liked him in Ballers. Like, I think
he was Ricky.
That's where he built his foundation.
Yeah.
But
Seth, you know where I started my love affair with Yahya Abdul Mateen is that Fighting Vipers episode of Black Mirror. I was like, if this dude can make cyber sex with Falcon look cool, he can handle anything.
And Anthony Mackie is another person that I would consider for a Black Panther part. Like,
he's already Falcon.
I know, he's already Falcon, and he's about to be Captain America.
You know what I would like to see? That's why he gave him the shield at the end of Endgame. What I would love to see.
Comics, it's like him and Bucky kind of both take it on for a while.
Okay.
After Rogers gets killed in the Civil War.
When it's all said and done, because his career right now with the UFC looks like it's he left his light heavyweight title. I would like to see Yahya play John Jones in the movie.
Ooh, I can fuck with that.
That beard, the height, does it for me.
Yeah,
no M'Baku.
Did you see Baz Luhrmann had this show of all the people, and it was actually okay about the beginnings of rap in New York, like the beginning of hip hop when it was Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation and Funkmaster Flash, or Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster
Flash. He was like the villain on that show, and he was like a disco king kind of character, and he was great.
You're talking about Get Up.
The Get Up, that's what it is, yeah.
It
had that kid from Jurassic Park in it, or Jurassic Park.
That was actually a good show, too.
It was all right. For being made by like a really femmy Australian guy. It was better than I expected it to be.
You know what? You're absolutely right about that.
Good. I'm actually enjoying this conversation. It seems like I want to get out, but I don't. I just might cut it into two parts.
So, all right, to get to the question, to recast,
I got to finish up.
John David Washington, I think is as good a choice as any to recast. I think he's a solid actor. I think he'd do the part well. He's a big guy. Jonathan Majors, I would be okay with too.
Okay.
I want Yaya.
You could just retcon Wakabi and give it to Daniel Kaluuya because he's a badass.
And if you guys are still on Corona lockdown and you haven't watched Gomorrah yet, it's an Italian mafia show.
Okay.
It was a movie first.
It was a movie first, but this is a series it's not tied to. It's just inspired by the movie. It's fantastic. Some of the best television I've ever seen. I put it up there with The Sopranos. As far as mob stories, like
Not a good endorsement.
no, it's much better than Sopranos. But
Okay.
either way, and the only way that you'll ever see anything like it brought to American television, like it's going to be on HBO Max. They're going to hit you with the 4 seasons in the movie. 5th season's coming. It's Ricky Gervais's favorite show. But the only way, I want you guys to watch this, maybe we can even do a future episode on adapting it. The only way to truly adapt this Italian Napolitano Mafia show would be to set it with an all-black cast in the south side of Chicago. It's the only environment in America that could possibly replicate exactly how intricate and everything it works. So that's your homework, if you want. Watch Gomorrah on Netflix. I think Netflix still has the first
The
2
film was
seasons.
excellent. I thought the film was one of the best gangster films I've ever watched.
This is in the pilot to this. There's a guy. He's an enforcer for the mob. They call him L'Immortal, the immortal one, because he was like in an earthquake as a baby and survived. But he goes in for like coffee and somebody tosses a grenade in the fucking coffee shop in like the first 30 seconds of the show. It's just fantastic. It's dark, and it's also odd because they're Europeans, so they dress a little more stylish than you'd think. And it's, they're like doing drive-bys on the back of a Vespa, hugging onto their Amigo, but they're also like drinking the blood of virgins and shit. So it's a nice dichotomy.
Yeah, I'll check it.
I'll check that out.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. Gordon, you got to roll. Greg, it's great talking to you. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.